AFCON 2025 is ongoing in Morocco, and we've seen a lot of actions in the group stages in the last 16 of the tournament, and now we are in the quarterfinal of the tournament. We're going to take a look at the highlights and look at some of the actions that took place there in the group stage, where some of the players also that were outstanding. And I believe there are a lot of talent on this continent, especially now that we're watching and experiencing this firsthand here on this continent. Now, to join me in the studio today talking about AFCON is my brother Solomon.
Good to be here. Good
Happy
to have
New Year.
you. Thanks for inviting me. Yes, it's a new year actually.
Yeah.
You know, my wife was talking about the fact that these footballers have been playing AFCON before Christmas and even after Christmas. So now they're spending their Christmas playing football.
But no time with family members.
It's like, well, that's their job.
But some of them, their family members are there with them anyway.
Yes,
so yeah,
importantly.
you understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go straight into it. Looking at the AFCON 2025 in Morocco, and prior to this tournament, there were a lot of commotions coming from ex-footballers in Europe. We're talking about the standard of the competition itself. And some were playing down on it, there's no relevance when it comes to this competition. So going into this tournament, and so far with the things that you have seen, what is your assessment of the tournament itself?
Well, I believe like every tournament is different. Yeah. You know, the standard, the excellence that you see from the field of play, the whole composition of different teams and players coming into play, the tactical awareness, the technical side of it. You all have to look at that, you know. And I feel Morocco 2025 is totally different. Sure. So far, what I've seen from the group stage, I've seen quite a lot of individuality that really stood out, you know. And then I also saw a lot of a few teams that were playing as a team. You know that they don't have those individuals, so they have to play as a team. And then you've seen some coaching input. You see certain coaches who make certain decisions in a game, either to play in certain formation or to make a certain substitution that became effective. You know, I've seen a lot of goalkeepers also giving their best. The goalkeeper of Algeria yet to concede a goal. You know, the son of Zinedine, the great Zinedine Zidane.
Just one goal.
Just one goal, yes. You know, after that, it's so you look at that and you evaluate it through that. You evaluate it through all of this. You don't just summarize it or compare it to the last Africa Cup of Nations or to the last two. I think it would be a disservice, especially coming from former international players. Maybe there are certain expectations that they have, but I think Morocco has been a good host so far. The infrastructure has been great. Sight and sound. The fans have been really contributing. I think the fans were coming, even though you only see big fans when some of the North African teams play.
The truth is I'm enjoying it. And like you said, Morocco, excellent, man. It's just been wonderful. If you look at the performances of the teams and you look at, I think we have evolved as a continent when it comes to soccer as well. The use of technology, especially the VAR, we've seen that, and the officiating for me is top notch. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand. And some of the games you look at it, you're like, wow, where is this coming from? You know, before we don't have all these things. And there were a lot of controversial decisions that were taken by the referees in some of the previous competitions, and everybody will be complaining, Africa, do they really have what it takes to be on the international level when it comes to officiating? But with this now, I think it's an eye-opener to a lot of people to see that we have evolved, and we'll continue to evolve, and we'll be better. And now especially with the talent that we're exporting on the continent to Europe and other parts of the world where they're applying that trade in the soccer field, you know. So let's look at the group stages, and you will tell me the teams that stood out for you, the teams that you were, you know, sort of predicting to win. First group there, in Group C, we have Nigeria, Tanzania, Tunisia, and Uganda. Any surprise there?
No surprise, actually. I had expected Uganda to do a little bit better. You know, because if you look at it, in the last 10, 20 years, Uganda, the cranes of Uganda, they've been doing far more better than Tanzania. You know, when it comes to continental football. And they have the players, but I expected them to go through. But obviously, Tanzania was was playing as a team. He's one of the team that played as a team. And also, sometimes people watch Tanzania and they think Tanzania is a pushover. But you have to remember that Tanzanian teams, clubs, are doing so well in Africa Champions League. Young Africans and Simba FC, they've been doing so well. Matter of fact, they had their team that played in the CAF Confederation Cup final.
Wow.
A club from Tanzania. Right? So people tend to ignore that because they don't have big name players in Europe. But if you can make the local teams and the league strong.
Just to purchase on what you're saying, I think we can see that with the Bafana national team.
Exactly.
You see the quality of football that they are playing and the kind of players that they have. They don't have the so-called superstars who are playing in Europe and all that. But if you look at the way in which they are together, they're understanding the team cohesion. And that is one thing that I always say, that football is a game of 11 players.
That's right.
If we can be able to play together and we are determined, we can beat any team.
That's right. And if you have one or two exceptional players that can do the magic, that's a big addition to you. So I'm never really surprised with Tanzania. But then I look at another surprise for me was Tunisia. Tunisia is a candidate that is on its way to the World Cup 2026 in the USA. The AFCON is supposed to be a great dress rehearsal for them to test themselves before going to the World Cup. The World Cup is just about 6 months away. You know, qualifying to the World Cup 2026, Tunisia won sort of like almost all their games in their groups. You know, they have the players. You know, there's the Hannibal player, which I feel in the last game that they got kicked out, he was playing their number 10. He grew up with Manchester United. He plays for Burnley now, born in France. But he was substituted about 15 minutes to the end of the game, which for me, I thought he was one of the most effective players. It's a number 10. You know, he wasn't injured or anything. So I think that contributed to them. But Tunisia was definitely, for me, the way...
It was a surprise.
The way they played in that group, even though they made it through, but the way they played was really a surprise. But Nigeria, I think they had a goal. We have 3 games. We do our best to win the 3 games.
Won the 3 games.
You know, 100% winning.
They're the team with the 100% record so far.
Yes. Some of their players made it into the team of the first round, the group stage, and the Nigerian coach was actually the coach of the group stage.
Oh wow!
So
that's impressive. I love that. I love to see that. And then in Group D we have Benin, Botswana, DR Congo, and Senegal.
Benin has a very experienced coach. You know. Because he's coached Nigeria, he's coached a couple of teams. So I expected them to actually do better than they did in the group stage. But they made it through, which is okay. You know, Botswana came for the experience. Yes, it was for the experience, and I feel this would help them in building their nation. It's just a country of about 2 million people. And DR Congo. You know, for me, at this AFCON, if there was a dark horse that I could put my money on, is a DR Congo team. Because they have great established players.
Yes, and also the way in which they play.
The way they play.
Approach to every game.
Yes. They're aggressive, they're physical, but then you could see also that technically they are very sound. So it was, for me, I would definitely... you know, they did well, and Senegal, obviously, they are the regular, regular expectations.
I was saying that for me, going into this tournament, I had 3 teams that I was picking to sort of go to the semi-final if possible. Bafana was one of them, and the reason being that I saw the way in which they played during the qualifiers for the World Cup, and for me, I was so impressed with the young players and understanding each other, coming from the same league, their local league, which is very good also. So I was tipping them. Senegal, number 1, we know the quality that they have. Aside the money and all, these guys, they won it. You know, so Senegal was picking. And then Morocco, for me, is a team that I was also... So those are just the 3 teams that I was picking in this tournament. However, we have 2 left and 1 went home, which is South Africa. And then let's look at the Group E: Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan.
Equatorial Guinea has been around for a bit. You're not really sure of Equatorial Guinea. Sometimes they come in strong and sometimes they don't. So I expectantly, didn't make it out of the group, which I totally believe. But Mozambique obviously came in and made a record for themselves for the first time in their history. They got to get out of the group. So which I feel is a good thing with their captain there, Palamba. He's 42.
42, the oldest outfield player. Aside the Egyptian goalkeeper who was 44.
Yeah.
Hadari, who was 44. This is actually the oldest player. And this guy, he won it all in the PSL.
Yes,
he won
in South
everything.
Africa.
Super Sports, Vit, Sundown.
He won the league several times and all of that. So it's good to see players who has that sort of longevity. Algeria, Algeria is a team that you cannot really, you're not sure. They have the ability.
Yeah.
They have what it takes, but you're not sure.
Yeah.
Algeria is a team that most definitely will get out of the group stage, get into the quarters or whatever.
Yeah.
But from then onwards, you're not really sure. But I think they did what they have to do, and they got out of it really strong. Sudan.
Expected.
Sudan is expected. Yeah. Sudan, for me, it was good to see them getting out of the group because it's a nation that is going through a lot.
Yeah.
Just for what a lot of people don't know is one of the teams in Sudan, I think it's called El Merreikh. Because of the fight, the war in the country, the league has been suspended. And this team now plays in the Rwandan league.
Yeah.
So they moved to
Rwanda.
And they're competing in the Rwandan league. Which is difficult because they want to stay active and all that, which is also good because the players need to play. But it was good to see them in spite of what they've been going through.
Sometimes the winners are not heroes. They're not all heroes. You know? So we look at the Sudanese national team when they play, especially when they were playing against Senegal.
Yes.
The match against Senegal, for me, I saw a lot of improvement. I saw a team that had the hunger to win, a team that is evolving together, and that also gave me some sort of comfort,
right.
Understanding where they're coming from and what they're going through. So I get what you're saying there. So let's look at Morocco. Let's look at Cameroon, Gabon, Ivory Coast, Mozambique. We spoke about Mozambique and Pelembe, who is the oldest outfit player to participate in this tournament. And then we look at the Cameroonian side because before coming into this tournament, there were a lot of crises.
Yes.
They're going through so much to a point the likes of Vincent Abubakar were dropped. There are a lot of speculations here and there about Eto dropping him because he doesn't want him to beat his record.
Yes.
I sort of debunked that, but I don't know what you think about
these
teams.
I think it's sad that Cameroonian football administration is just like Nigerian football administration, where there's always going to be that tension with the executives, and that's sad because it affects the team. But it was good to see Cameroon coming. We know what Cameroon has to offer.
True.
Whether they change, because we were seeing almost an entirely new team, right? But because they have huge pool of talent, they can put together 3 teams that can actually go to the AFCON and really compete really well.
So far they're doing well.
And so far they're doing well. It was good to see them go out of the group. They have a local coach now. I love to see an African coach. And I think that's one of the things at AFCON in Morocco. There's a lot of African coaches there. Unlike before when we were kids growing up, almost all the coaches were Europeans.
Their game against, sorry to digress a little bit, their game against South Africa, against Bafana, how was that match to you?
That match to me was the one team who came in, they know what to do.
They had
to get to the next round.
Yeah, that's true.
And what do you need to do? We need to score goals. Okay, you got 3 opportunities, you scored 2 goals, not bad. And then you have Bafana.
Fantastic, by the way. They were.
Who had 66% possession.
But could not utilize. Only scored a goal in the last 5 minutes of the game. That's not enough. So you're looking at a mentality that said, look, you go there, it's a knockout. You go in there, you have to win. You have to score goals to win. And the other team who had good technical team, South Africa, but unfortunately they couldn't make it. All right. In the same Cameroon's group, where that is Group F, we have Gabon, and the stories emanating from Gabon. I don't know if you read about it.
Yes.
We had how to disband the entire team.
Yes.
The likes of Aubameyang, and now they're not going to be able to play for their national team anymore. What do you have to say about this story? And was that actually the right decision for the FA to take in Gabon?
You don't just disband teams. I think Angola also had an issue. They didn't do well, so they had to go back. And remember, before Angola came to AFCON, they had a friendly match with Argentina in Luanda, the capital of Angola, which cost them quite a lot of money, about $10 million.
Wow, they actually paid a lot to see Messi there.
Exactly. So and when you bring in Messi, when you say bring Messi, then you have to pay more.
Yeah.
But after they got knocked out, the football administrator said, "Look, we have to look at what happened. This is not the objective.
Yeah.
What happened? We have to relook at it. We're not happy. Totally, I agree. Yeah. But in the case of Gabon, I think they were too impulsive. You don't make such decisions. You allow them come back, get a report from the coach, from the administrators, talk to the players. What happened? What do we change? So even if you want to change the team, you can go ahead and do that later. Yeah. But not out of your disappointment, making such pronouncement is going to affect the player. It's going to affect a player who's young, who is the future of Angola. Say, look, should I really play for Angola if this is how we're going to be discarded? Yeah. Why should I play for Angola anyway? So it is definitely one of those situations that you see happen.
Okay, the last group that we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the host nation. That is Morocco. Morocco played against, in their first match, they played against Comoros. It was expected, they won that game 2-0. And in their second match, which they played 1-1 against Mali, and also in their last match, they won 3-0 against Zambia. What was your take on Morocco so far?
I think Morocco, for me, is definitely a semi-final candidate. And whatever happens from there, we'll see. Yeah. They know what to do. They know they're hosting. Yeah. That's a more statement. Morocco knows they are hosting. Yeah. And they know what to do. And they did exactly what they had to do. Against Comoros in their first game, it took them a long time to get those goals. And Comoros, for me, I was very impressed for a team from an island that has just about half a million people. So the footballing nation is far away there. They held their own against Morocco. Yeah. But teams like Morocco, you could see that they have the technical abilities, but then they also have the experience. Because sometimes, and that was what Bafana was lacking. Yeah. When things become difficult and you cannot score, how do you still score? And that was exactly what Morocco did.
I usually say? I say that a team that is going to win the league, when I'm talking about someone like the Premier League and all that, a team that knows how to win the league, when the match is going to a draw, they turn it into a win. Exactly. And that match is going into a defeat, they turn it into a draw. Exactly. So you must be able to know that.
You're still getting the point.
Yeah.
You're still getting the 3 points from the win and 1 point from the draw. And that is important.
It is.
Yes. True. So you have to accumulate that. But for Morocco also, now they're almost like solid and going with the return of their captain, who was injured, who couldn't play the first game, second game, not really, not too fit. But now it seems like, okay, he's starting games for them. So it's going to be a huge moral booster for them. And Morocco, for me, really delivered and came out of that group.
Okay, now they are looking at all these games in the first stage of the tournament, being the group stages. Which teams, to name the teams that stood out for you?
Teams that stood out for me, obviously the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Three matches, 3 wins. Yeah, so that's definitely a team that stood out, a team that really stood out for me. And I could say also there's a team, Ivory Coast. Really stood out. I think they're really good candidates. The way they played. Amad Diallo, is doing it. Yes, Egypt is struggling a little bit, but if you know what to do when you struggle, because your form is not always going to be the same. But you just need to know that.
And you get better as the tournament progresses.
Exactly. Yeah. So these teams really stood out. Morocco stood out for me, definitely. And I think one of the teams that really I felt they're growing and coming to their own, that I love to see, Comoros. I love watching them. Yeah. I didn't expect them to go anywhere, but the kind of football they played, I really love it. They played quite some great football there.
No, and is what I was saying about Sudan also. You need to look at the effort.
Yes.
And you need to look at where these guys are coming from. Comoros going into this tournament, a lot of votes predicted that it was just going to be a walkover for them.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. They have to.
They made them sweat.
Yeah, and I think also, like you say, Super Eagles, they impressed me a lot going into this tournament, considering the fact that they did not qualify for the World Cup.
Yes.
I was not giving them any opportunity of making it out of this group, understanding that sometimes I look at the players and where they're coming from. I look at the understanding might not be there. And I think that is what affected them in the qualifiers for the World Cup, because majority of them are playing in Europe.
Yeah.
And when you're coming from different European leagues, to come together and play on this continent is a difficult thing to do. So I kind of give it to them. Now let's take a look at in the second segment, let's look at the last 16 rather. Senegal played against Sudan. Senegal won that 3-1. Mali played against Tunisia, of which they won on penalties. Morocco beating Tanzania. South Africa were out by Cameroon. Egypt plays Benin, and in the extra time they won 3-1. Nigeria, of course, they continue with where they stopped in the group stages, winning 4-0 against Mozambique. Algeria played DR Congo, and who else? Adil Balbina scored that goal in the 119th minute to take Algeria to the next stage of the competition. And of course, Ivory Coast, Ahmad, we just spoke about him now. He did it for his team, Ivory Coast, winning that one 3-0. So let's look at these teams. Here now, is there any, and there's a match we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And there's something that, there's a big story here that we're going to talk about, which is the match between Nigeria and Mozambique. But let's look at other matches. Which match here was expected and was not expected by you?
I expected Congo to win against Algeria, to be honest with you. But Algeria got that all-important goal in the extra time, added extra time. Yeah. I think Congo, for me, I just have a belief in them. Yeah. I just have a belief in them. I believe they have what it takes. It's the first time you're getting a lot of diaspora. Most of the players there are from diaspora, which I totally understand. And then they could make a good team. If they do go to the World Cup, I think they're going to get a lot of experience and they're going to play well against teams. But then you also have Senegal winning 3-1 against Sudan. That was very expected. Sudan's gotten to the end of the road.
They almost shocked them.
They almost, yes.
Sudan took the lead, and
yes.
I was like, what is
no,
happening
they took the lead, and against Senegal. And remember, they have a Ghanaian coach. The Senegalese coach is the Sudanese coach is Ghanaian. Wow. So he understands African football, especially he understands their neighbor. Senegal. Yeah. But Mali against Tunisia. Tunisia didn't do enough, and they didn't deserve. Mali came from playing with 10 men for almost 70 minutes. Wow. Got their equalizer after Tunisia has scored. Yeah. They got their equalizer against, in the last 2 minutes of the game. And went into extra time. And their goalkeeper came through for them, saved 2 of the penalty kicks. Morocco against Tanzania. I think Tanzanians will go home very proud with the way they play.
I was actually impressed with them.
Yeah, people
conceding just 1 goal.
Yes, people thought it was going to be a whitewash. It's Tanzania. They're not really experienced. You're playing against the host country. South Africa deserve to go home against Cameroon. You play, but you never scored. So,
but trust me, they played very well. They did not deserve to go. They did not deserve to go.
You deserve to go home if you don't score goals.
They don't score. But for me, I felt like these guys were good. They were good. They played. I was not expecting. Remember when they were going against Cameroon? I felt like this is just going to be a one-sided.
Yeah.
I was thinking Cameroon were going to sort of beat them. But going into this game and the way in which they approached the game, it gave me so much joy that South Africa played the way they did.
Yes.
And I thought they were going to get something out of this match.
Yes. And I think the South African team, I don't think we've seen a team that is as solid as a unit like South Africa. That's playing together as a team.
That's what I love about
so I don't think you must give them that credit. And then we have obviously Egypt against Benin. Egypt had to drag themselves through. They needed that added extra time to win. So it shows that they they need to push. You
Goes
cannot
back
just
to what
rely
you
on
said
anything.
earlier. Sometimes you don't know how to play, but you manage the results.
Yeah, you manage the result. It's all about, the game is about results now when you're here. And then we have Algeria against DR Congo. Like I said, I was disappointed, DR Congo lost. And Ivory Coast against Burkina Faso. The 3-0 win didn't really reflect what really happened in that game. I watched that game. I watched like almost all the games with my kids. I think 1-0 should have been a better reflection of the game, because Burkina Faso had their own fair chance of scoring. But unfortunately, it didn't go through.
It has to do with the experience also.
Yes.
Like we said about Bafana, they have young players, and sometimes they played very well. They are too overwhelmed with some of the opportunities that they get, and they don't utilize them.
Yeah.
And now let's look at the Nigerian one, Nigeria versus Mozambique.
Yeah.
Nigeria won this game 4-0. Sime scored 2 goals, Lukman scored, Akol scored, and in that game, that was a match for you, by the way. That was a match for us.
It was a great game. You could see a team that was really flowing, playing together as a team, which is sometimes not Nigerian. We are used to having individual brilliance when it comes to players.
True.
But you playing together as a team is always one of the hardest things to inculcate in the Nigerian team. But the Nigerian teams from back in the day used to be that way. But we've lost that culture a little bit. But the 4-0 is the highest scored by any team at AFCON. No team has scored 4 goals in one game. So credit to Nigeria. Lukman and Osimhen, you could see the coordination between them. They know how to play together, right? And remember, both players are very selfish players, because they love to score.
Lukman wants to take people one-on-one to create opportunities and also score for himself.
Yes.
Osimhen, on the other hand, want to score goals.
Yeah.
And I think that brings me to the next point that I'm going to make. The reaction of Osimhen to Lukman when he missed to give the pass to him. And that is what has been trending. Here is my take, by the way, before I go to you. It was selfish, right? Because a lot of people misconstrue a lot of things in that game. There's passion. There are players that are passionate about the game.
Yeah.
And then there are players that are selfish.
Yeah.
The two are different. You have Osimhen, who is selfish. You scored 2 goals already. I know you can score a hat-trick. You can score more.
Yeah.
And the argument is saying that, people are saying that, yes, as a striker, you want to score more, and you can even score 6. That is understandable. But here you're playing with your teammate who provided an assist for you to score. And you scored 2 in the game, and you guys are winning 4. If you guys were leading like 1-0, I will understand the anger.
Yeah.
But you're leading 4-0. And in the process, you're treating your fellow professional like a kid to you.
Yeah.
That is where I'm coming from. To me, I felt that was not supposed to be his reaction as a professional player.
I totally agree. I think his frustrations was placed at the wrong time. You don't place that frustration there.
Yeah.
He's a very passionate player. He's a very expressive player. And we also have to understand that in the heat of the moment, you could do certain things that's wrong. But you cannot begin to have alteration with your teammate. And the opposition team member from Mozambique is trying to intervene between you guys.
You guys. And these guys are leading. Mind you, these guys are losing 4-0.
Yes.
And they're not fighting among themselves.
Exactly.
You that are leading 4-0, you're fighting with your team.
So I think he could probably... It was maybe an opportunity for the team, though we are leading 4-0, but let's still keep playing as a team. Let's not be selfish. When a typical team, when we're leading 4-0 or 2-0, everybody will begin to do their own thing. So we lose that sort of like team togetherness. But maybe he's saying, look, hey guys, we have a next game. So let's just keeping on. We've scored 4 goals, but you're not keeping on let's keep the same mentality, same approach. If we begin to play like this, we go to the next game, things are gonna happen. But these 2 guys, they know each other. They're good friends. And it will shock you to know what happens in the dressing room or in the training ground. They've had so many of that in the training ground. And each player is different, not just the way they play, but their own attitude and how they see life. But I love how Lukman handled it. And I love what he said at the press conference, at the press media conference afterwards. That's how. Remember, Osimhen is like the assistant captain of the team. If you remember very well, when indeed he didn't play the last group game, he wore the captain armband.
Yeah.
And his behavior was like, I was like, wow, I love this Osimhen.
Look, we all love players who are passionate about playing for their national teams and winning.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. My only concern is the expression.
Yes. Yeah.
That was not supposed to be his reaction as a leader. And if you let's look at the professional players, the so-called superstars, your Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, your Messi. They get frustrated when these things are not being done to them. But the truth is, the way in which they handle it is different.
It's okay to get frustrated with the opposition.
But
getting frustrated that way with your teammates.
There's nothing wrong. It shows the passion the passion that you have for the game. But my thing now is that, to a point of you getting angry and saying you're dropping your accreditation, saying you're going back to your club.
Yeah.
That was just to me, that was too far.
No, if he had done that,
he did.
Then it is definitely a bigger problem, more than a problem that we saw on the pitch.
Okay.
So maybe there's a bigger problem that we're not aware of behind the scene.
Yeah.
That's been going on, brewing. And like I sat down and thought about it.
Yeah.
I said, look, if I'm the coach, in the quarterfinal game, I'll sit him on the bench for 90 minutes.
Yes.
For 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna win the game, and then in the semi-final, he start the game.
You see, that's what I was saying to somebody else, was that in order for the coach to also stamp his authority and say, this, look, I'm in charge of this game, and your behavior, I cannot condone it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going. The statement you're going to make is put him on the bench. Let every player, because tomorrow,
talk to him privately. I'm putting you on the bench because of this.
You know why I'm talking about this so much? Because there's a game we played against Benin in the World Cup qualifiers. He did the same thing. I have the video. He did the same thing, and he left the pitch. He was angry. Boniface went to sort of beg him, plead with him, please come back. He refused. He stormed into the dressing room, angry and making gestures that you could see that this person was.
But sometimes we forget that he's from the streets of Lagos.
Yeah.
Though he lives in it doesn't change. Okay.
Why is
you take him out of Lagos, but Lagos doesn't live him.
But you see, one thing that I love about some of the leagues in Europe is the fact that they try to sort of inculcate their culture in you.
Yeah.
When you come, there's a sort of an education that they give you. You have to understand orientation here. This is how you behave. You do 1, 2, 3 here, and you don't do this here. And trust me, these players are maintaining that standard because they know that is where their bread is coming from. But then you come to a national team that made you who you are, and you're showing that you are above everyone. So that is where my concern is coming from.
I think that needs to be addressed. I don't think they've addressed it properly and enough, and I do hope that they will do that.
Other than that, the tournament for me so far, number one team, Super Eagles of Nigeria. They scored a lot of goals, and you have Lukman, 3 goals, 4 assists. He's involved in 7 goals and assists there. So this is just an impressive tournament for them, and chances of them going further, well, they're playing Nigeria, so we never know, but I'm impressed overall, because this tournament is a tournament where we've seen 173 yellow cards, 7 red cards, and the best attack in this tournament has been the Super Eagles with 12 goals. The 12 goals that they scored, which has been a fantastic, by the way. So that is that for the round of 16. Let's go to the quarterfinals, the matches that are going to come. We're going to have from Friday the 9th of January 2026 to Saturday we're going to have Mali playing against Senegal. And by the way, before I go into the fixtures, we have 5 teams that are representing West Africa, and 4 teams from West Africa, 1 from Central Africa, and 3 from North Africa. The Central Africa being Cameroon. There's a debate there. They always claiming they're from West Africa.
They want to be.
They want to be. So we also have Cameroon playing against the host nation, Morocco.
Yes.
I don't think they stand a chance, but anyway. We have on Saturday, we have Algeria playing against the Nigerian Super Eagles. This is going to be a tough game. And then we have Ivory Coast and Egypt.
So Cameroon versus Morocco is two lions against each other.
Yeah.
The indomitable lions against the Atlas lions. Morocco's goal and vision is to win the tournament.
And I love that.
Anything,
I love that mindset.
anything shorter than that,
They
they'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Right? They're fired up. They're ready. But Cameroon is now saying, hey guys, we've gotten to the quarterfinal. Nobody gave us a chance because of what's been happening.
Yeah.
We've been going through a lot. And watching the Cameroon team play the other games, they have a strong mentality.
True.
That they go in.
Yeah.
So, would they be spoilers? Just maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
If Morocco does not score the goals, Cameroon may just destroy their vision.
And defend.
And the whole nation would be sad.
It's gonna be sad.
I can imagine what's going to happen.
The host nation is
Yeah.
not there.
And the winner of this game is going to meet the winner of Nigeria against Algeria.
Wow.
So you have Nigeria playing Algeria.
Difficult one.
Watching Algeria against who did they play in Congo? I could see that Algerians couldn't match the physicality of the Congolese. And the Congolese physicality is like the Nigerians' physicality.
Yeah, but with ball sense matters sometimes.
They have ball sense.
Yeah.
The advantage for Nigeria is you have the physicality and you have the ball sense.
Yeah.
Would they use it effectively? If they do use it effectively, then I would see them using, getting it over Algeria. But Algeria is a smart team. They know technically they're a gifted team.
Remember in the last, they played Nigeria and Maire scored in that free kick. So Algeria won against Nigeria.
Yes. So if they come with their technicality, obviously, and also allow the physicality of the Nigerians to get the Nigerians into trouble, then
that would be.
They will take advantage of that.
Okay, the next ones: Mali versus Senegal and Egypt versus Ivory Coast.
Mali, Senegal on Friday. Senegal is always the favorite there. I think Mali has gotten to a place where I think this might just be the end of the road for them. But the advantage is we're talking about two West African sides.
Yeah, we know each other.
So when two West African sides are playing, you forget about what the statistics says. It's a West African derby.
Yeah.
So Mali is going to be fired up going in here, knowing that Senegal has a better team, better players, better history and whatever. But no, we can spoil that. So they're going to be fired up. And then we have, who again? Cameroon.
No, we have Egypt versus Ivory Coast.
Egypt against Ivory Coast. Yeah. Egypt, I've not really been totally satisfied with Egypt, with their play. But maybe, as the tournament progresses sometimes, a team picks up later on. But Ivory Coast, for me, has been convincing so far. But would they keep that sort of tempo against Egypt, who is equally playing, knowing that they really want to win? Salah is there, motivated. Mamouche is there. Trezeguet, they really want to win that. Yeah. So I think it could be, in that game, Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire, I think it's going to be anybody's game.
I agree with you. Solomon, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the
pleasure.
Soccer Highlight with myself, Emmy Akura, to discuss this AFCON. And hopefully we're going to stay here till the final.
Yes.
And we'll also talk about the final, who's going to win. We don't know yet, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, thank you so much. And to the beautiful viewers out there, we've come to the end of this episode with myself and Solomon. We spoke about the group stage of the tournament and the second round, the round of 16. We've seen a lot of actions took place there. We are in the quarterfinal of the tournament. After the quarterfinal, we get to the semifinal of the tournament, where we're going to see the person who we wanted more and get to the final. Could it be the Nigerian Super Eagles of Nigeria, who are going to continue with their form and make sure to win all the games and get to the final? Or could it be the host nation, who is going to win all the games and get to the final? All these teams, remember, all the 8 teams that are left want to win it. Everybody wants to win. And this tournament, I don't care what you say, this is one of the best tournaments on the continent, in the world in general, one of the best in the world when it comes to the world of soccer. So, all right, we've come to the end of this episode. Until I come your way again next week, a lot of actions are going to be taking place this weekend. Stay tuned.